super excited for today. We are going to be making, for the first time, salsa. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so right here, these tomatoes came from the garden, and I wasn't sure we were gonna have enough, but I wanted to make a full batch. So I bought just a small hamper from the store, which these are really ripe. These ones are just about there, but we're gonna go ahead and peel them and kind of just get them ready anyways and use them all. So what we're gonna do first is we're going to peel the tomatoes, and I will show you with just a couple how we're gonna do that, and then I'll also link below in the description how to peel tomatoes, because I'm pretty sure I did a video on it last year, so I'll link that down below. Super simple, just dip them in hot boiling water on the stove for like 15 seconds, put them in a bowl, and the skins will just peel off, and then we're going to chop them up. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I didn't record the whole thing because you don't need to watch me do all of the tomatoes. But anyways, these are the two that we grew at home. And then this is the one that I bought at the store. I don't know now that I have them all done if I need them all, but we'll see. So now you can see they've all been boiled. See how they split? So now you're just gonna peel the skin back like this on all the tomatoes, every single one of them. And then you're gonna just kinda cut it up. I don't want to put it in a food processor because I like our salsa to be a little bit chunky. So you're just gonna basically peel the skins off like that, and then you're going to, let me move this out of the way so you can see. So once the skin's all peeled back, just like that, it literally just peels off. You're going to set up a colander in a bowl. So once this is all peeled back, the chunked tomatoes are gonna go into this colander right here. And from there, all of the water is going to drain out. And what I've heard to do is all the seeds, kind of just put your fingers in like this and push, because that's where all the water is. You see the water? Oh, I don't know if you can see that. So just where the seeds are, put your finger in. It's like a hollow hole. That's where all the water is. You're just gonna push it, put your finger in there, and then you're left with like the good flesh of the tomato. And then from there, you're gonna cut it up. So you're just gonna take out where the stem is, cut it up into the size you want, and put it in the colander. So I'm gonna do that with all the tomatoes now, and then we will move to the next steps. So like I said, peel your tomatoes so they look like this, just a peeled tomato, cut it in half. That's where you're gonna see the seeds like this, and you're just gonna stick your finger in. They will come out, but you'll find a hollow spot like this. And you put your finger in there and all the water will fall out. And then you're left with just the good hard flesh. And that's what you're going to chop up, and then you're gonna put it right back into the colander. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so this is what they look like in the colander. You're just gonna leave them, and they're gonna drain all of their juice down into the bowl underneath. So that's one tomato. So now I'm going to skin or peel all of these and chop them up the same as I did this one. And then I will show you what we end up with. Okay, so that just took me probably about 40 minutes to peel, take all the seeds and juices out and chop the tomatoes. I'm gonna turn you around and show you what we got here. So here we go. Here is my colander full of diced and chopped up tomatoes. as you can see in the bottom here, I don't know if I can do it with one hand, it's quite heavy. What I ended up doing is instead of putting the juices and seeds into the colander, I just put them into a bowl. So this is what I came out with once I cut off all the stems and like pushed all of the water and seeds out. And then this is just the tomatoes. So let me turn you around and show you the juice. Okay, so this is what I mean by placing your colander in a bowl, because what you're gonna see, let me put this over here maybe, is all of this juice came out of the tomatoes, and that will allow for a thicker salsa, and it won't be so runny with all of this water that came out of the tomatoes. So what we're gonna do now is measure this out. We need 4 quarts, which is 2 of these full, and I believe we have that. And we're gonna put it into a big bowl, and then we're going to cut up our bell peppers, garlic, and onions. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna turn you around again and show you how much juice and seeds came out of all of those tomatoes. And then I'm gonna clean this up and we'll get chopping the other things. So there you go. This is all of the water and seeds that came from all of those tomatoes I just peeled and chopped. And this is them here. So I'm gonna put these into a big bowl, and then we're gonna chop up the onions and peppers, as well as, or just the onions and peppers actually, and put them into this same colander and let them drain as well. Okay, so I couldn't have asked for better measuring. That was 4 quarts exactly. Now what we're going to do is, now that I have all the tomatoes in a bowl, I've got my colander set up again, just wiped it out and cleaned it off quick. Now what we're going to do is we're going to chop the garlic, peppers, and onions in a food processor and place into a colander to drain. Now I'm just gonna use this slap chop that I have, but what we're gonna need is 4 bell peppers, 8 cloves of garlic, and 4 onions. So I've got 4 onions here. We tried growing white onions in the garden this year, and they just didn't grow how I intended, and I've never grown onions before. So we got 2, but they were very small and we needed to buy some. So I bought 4 white onions, and same with the bell peppers. Like, this is one of the bell peppers from the garden, but I needed more. So 4 bell peppers. Let me take these out. And then I've got my garlic here. So you're gonna need 8 cloves of garlic, and that's it. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna chop all of these up, and I'm gonna use my slap chop like I showed you. So I'm gonna do all of these, place them in the colander, just because once you slap these things too, especially the peppers, they do hold water also. So it'll drain out, and then we'll add it in and do all the rest. Might need to find a bigger bowl. So let's go ahead now and chop up our 4 bell peppers, our 4 onions, and 8 cloves of garlic. Okay, so I have all of my peppers in here. You can see how small I chopped them to, and they're pretty juicy. You can see how much water is coming out of them. And here's my seeds and stems. Now we're going to do the onions. Okay, so there's the peelings, there's all of our onions. Now let's do the garlic. Okay, so there is 8 cloves of garlic. I'm going to put it into here, and then we're gonna mix it all together. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just pushing down on the vegetables in here. We're draining it off again. I'll show you how much. And then we're literally just going to take what we've just cut and chopped and drained in the colander, and we're gonna add it to the tomatoes. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so it's not all gonna fit. So I'm gonna grab my roasting pan because it's the next biggest bowl that I have. And I'm gonna put it all into here now. All right, that's better. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and give it all a good real mix together. And then we will add the next steps. Okay, so I've got it stirred all together nicely here. Now let's go ahead and add what we need to add next. Okay, so now what we need to add to this mixture of our vegetables here is 1.5 cups of white vinegar, 3 tablespoons of salt, 1/2 cup of cane sugar, 2 tablespoons of chili powder, 2 tablespoons of oregano, 1 teaspoon of cumin, and then we're gonna add in some tomato paste when we're done that. So let's add in the vinegar, salt, sugar, chili powder, oregano, and cumin. And we'll add it into here and then we'll give it a good stir. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so here you can see now that all of the spices are mixed in, what it's looking like, as well as the vinegar, the sugar, the salt, oregano, cumin, and chili powder. Now we're gonna add in 2 6-ounce cans of tomato paste. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so that is it for our salsa. It's all mixed in. The 2 cans of tomato paste are mixed in there. And you can see that it's still a chunky salsa, but what the tomato paste does is it thickens it so it's not as runny. And there you go, that's what your salsa is gonna look like. So now let's talk about how we are going to can this. Okay, so this recipe, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be cold packing our jars, and then we're gonna water bath them for a processing time of 25 minutes. Now, if you don't feel comfortable with this method, don't do it. This is just the way that I do it, and I'm just sharing the recipe with you. If you don't feel comfortable with this method, then please do not do it. If you feel comfortable with it, and you are okay with it, then by all means give it a try. But this is going to be a cold packing process in a hot water bath for 25 minutes. So let's go ahead now, and we'll leave about 1/2 inch headspace. So you're just gonna take your, whatever this is called, and you're going to start putting it into the jars. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I just had to get a couple more jars to finish off all of the salsa. So we got quite a bit here. Now what we're going to do is just wipe all of the rims, and I made a little bit of a mess on the jars, but what we're gonna do is just wipe the rims with vinegar, and then I'm just gonna kind of wipe the jar up a bit. And before we do that, I forgot, we're going to take just a knife, And you're gonna run it down inside the salsa, just like this. And you can see here, to debubble and get any bubbles out that are down below. So I'm gonna run this knife along and do this to all of the jars. And then, like I said, I'm gonna grab a little paper towel with some vinegar on it and just give all of the rims a good wipe so there's nothing on them. And then we're gonna put our seals on and just put the rings on hand tight. One turn is what I usually say, one turn of the ring. And then we will put them into the water bath canner for 25 minutes of processing time once it starts to come to a full boil. Also, because it's a cold packing process, you want to make sure that it's going into jars that aren't hot and into water that's not hot. So let's rub these down with some vinegar, give them a good wipe, put some seals and rings on them, and then we will get them into the water bath canner right here. Okay, so I had to find another ring there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna give them all a quick wipe down on the sides of the jars just from where I kind of spilled. But as you saw there, I washed all of the rims with some vinegar on a cloth, just on a paper towel here, and you can see that you need to do that because it definitely had some on it. And you need that because you want to make sure that you have a good seal. If you don't have a good seal, then your can doesn't seal and your food isn't canned. So what we're gonna do now is I'm just going to move these from here, put them in the water bath canner, and then we're going to turn it on high, let it come to a boil. Once it has come to a boil, we're gonna set the timer for 25 minutes and then they will be done. So let's go ahead and get them in the water bath canner. And before I do that, I just thought I'd give you a quick peek of what it looks like. So there it is. So let's go ahead and get them in the canner. Okay, so this is all I could fit. I'm gonna have to do these extra two on their own, which kind of sucks, but that's okay. So now I'm gonna drop them down in, turn it on high, and set the timer for 25 minutes once it comes to a boil. So they are down in. You can see there's about this much water above them, which is perfect. I'm gonna turn it on high. And then I'm just gonna put the lid on. And we will wait till it comes to a boil. Okay, so it has been going for about 23 minutes because it's got 2 minutes left on the timer. Once the timer goes off here in about 1.5 minutes, I'm going to take all of the canning or the cans out of salsa and put them right here on just a table, like a towel cloth, and I'll show you what they look like. Okay, so there's all of the salsas now, what sucks is I have to do the other two. So I'm gonna empty this hot water, start back with just warm water, heat it up until it's boiling, and then set the timer for 25 minutes on my last two jars. But this is kind of neat because you can see the difference. So I will show you the difference between this jar that's not yet canned and then the jars that just came out, so you can see now what they look like that they've been cooked. So let me turn it around and show you. so here are all of my salsas. This one here has not been canned yet. And this one here, let me just move it out a bit so you can see. This one here has been canned, so you can see the difference. There's a little bit of water juice at the bottom. That's totally okay. When you're ready to use it, you're just gonna give it a shake and it's gonna all incorporate itself back together. And yeah, there we go. So there you go, guys. That's exactly how you make homemade salsa with just a couple ingredients. And like I said, most of these came straight from the garden. We did have to buy a little bit extra to get the whole recipe underway, but that's totally okay. I'm super excited with how it turned out. I think the longest time of the recipe is just peeling, getting all the water and seeds out of the tomatoes and chopping them. The rest of it went quite quickly and very smooth. And the canning part's easy, right? You just gotta wait till it comes to a boil, start the timer. As soon as the timer stops, take them out, and that's it. So now these are gonna sit here for about 2 days, just so they can cool down. And then from there, they're gonna go on the pantry shelf. Now you might notice in the bottom of the jars, there's a little bit of liquid. See how you can see there's a little bit of separation there? That's totally okay. So as just like store-bought salsa, give it a shake before you use it, and then pour it in the bowl that you're gonna use it in, or whatever you're gonna use it in. Just give it a shake before you use it, and it'll all go back together, which is perfect. So if you guys know somebody who loves salsa, pass this video along to them. If you have lots of tomatoes this season and you've never canned your own salsa, try this recipe for yourself and follow along the video, and let me know down below in the comments how it works for you and how you like it. But guys, I'm just super stoked to give this a try, and so grateful that my kids helped me do a lot of it too. They just weren't in the video, and I'm so blessed that I'm able to be home teaching them, educating them, showing them this way of life. And if you're ever wondering how I do what I do, there's a link in my bio. I mentor and coach people how they can do more of what they love and still create an income from home, which is so beautiful. I mean, so many people are looking for that in life now. So if that interests you, click the link in my bio. But yeah, I'm super excited for this, you guys. When I open a can up, I will let you know, and I'll do a video to show how it is. But yeah, there we go. Super easy. Took a couple of hours with the chopping and cutting and the whole process, but I said to my husband, we usually buy or use maybe 1 can of salsa a month. So I said, if we can can about 12 cans, we should be good for the year. Now these are bigger than the store, so I think this is gonna be enough salsa for us for the year. If not, I'll know for next year. But I'm super excited. So as always, you guys, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for following along. Love each and every single one of you. As always, ring that bell, subscribe so you never miss a video that's coming. Like this video, comment down below what you think, and I will see you guys back here next time. Bye.